Nice to see your smiling faces again. If anybody caught our last podcast, we were doing snacks from around the world, which went over real well, I think. We got a little crazy, tasted some interesting pieces of snacks and candy.
Definitely got silly
Um,
goofy.
yep, it sure did. What we decided to do is, as you should know by now, we do Wednesdays every other week, and every Friday we have a serious podcast. We decided on the Wednesday podcast that we're going to do either a product review or a product tasting or just something fun and uppity just to kind of lighten up the mood, the aura, whatever you want to call it, for a Friday episode. Um, Before we start our topic, and that of course Gabriella's going to do her state fun facts. Um, I'm going to warn you, you're probably going to want to bring out some Kleenexes, some boxes of tissues, because the topics we're going to discuss today are going to be really, really disturbing. So you might want to, smaller children in the house, you might not want to have them around. When you're listening to this, it's going to be very touchy subject. So with that, Gabriella.
Alright, so our first fun fact of the day is there are 71 streets in Atlanta, Georgia alone that have Peachtree in their name. That's kind of a cool fact. The state fish of Hawaii is the Hamu Nukuapua, or the reef triggerfish, if you prefer. So I definitely didn't read that wrong.
I bet you can't say that 3 times. No, that's not even close. No.
Wallace, Idaho is the center of the universe. It was declared to be so by the town's mayor in 2004, with his argument being that if people didn't agree, they simply had to prove that it isn't.
Interesting.
So
take that one.
The mayor is like, prove
That's how it is.
Prove it.
Prove it. Okay, now we're going to get into some seriousness. Again, like I said, if you have small children, sensitive, anybody's very sensitive to disturbing subjects, you might not want to tune in.
I don't remember what my subjects were.
Well, you're going to have to check them out.
Probably. Sorry.
If a lot of you are listening to current news or current bulletins, whatever you want to call it, there's one that came across recently, and it's going through every news station that you can come across. Even Nancy Grace picked it up on her show, and as you know, Nancy Grace, a lot of people don't really like her, but she does pick up on topics that other people won't pick up on because of the fact that nobody wants to address them because they are so disturbing. I think she was one of the first ones that picked up on the Casey Anthony, and I could be wrong in that. There was a little girl years ago, her name was Jessica Lunford, and she was found murdered and buried right in her neighbor's or her backyard. Just very disturbing. That's what I've come across, well, we've come across here in the past couple days. This one here, like, you're going to have to bring out your tissues. It's going to be hard for me to cover this one and the following one that I'm going to cover. I don't know what's going on with people in the world, but this one, to lead up into it, this one's going to be like, if you get somebody that says, okay, I killed my fiance, but I stabbed him accidentally 100 times. Like, accidentally 100 times. It's kind of like in that order, but not like that. You'll see when I start reading it. This one here is about, I think this just happened a couple days ago, that a Kansas City mother is accused of killing her infant by putting her in the oven. The mother told the baby's grandmother that she put the 1-month-old in the oven instead of the crib, according to court records. Now, before I read the article, that's disturbing in itself, but she lived with her grandparents, I guess, and I don't have any facts on this. I'm still doing some research because this is really new. But they're kind of saying that she might have been a little mentally not right. Um, but there's also other case stories that I was reading. Again, no facts for sure, but some people are saying that she loved this little girl so much, and she said that she wanted her and she was going to be the best mother on the face of the earth. But accidentally putting your child in the oven, I don't know. But let's get on to the story. Okay, it says let me see, get right here. Get here. Where is it?
Oh, you took a screenshot.
Yeah.
Do you still have?
Okay, a Kansas City mother allegedly killed her 1-month-old by placing her in the oven, according to court documents filed in Jackson County, Missouri. The mother was arrested and charged with felony child endangerment in the first degree, according to the complaint filed Friday in County Circuit Court. Officers from the Kansas City Police Department went to the home Friday afternoon after a report of a non-breathing infant, the complaint stated. Officers observed apparent burn wounds to the victim's body, a detective said in the probable cause statement. The Kansas City Fire Department responded and declared the victim deceased on the scene. First responders learned the mother went to put the baby down for a nap and accidentally placed her in the oven instead of the crib. The baby's grandparents told detectives they left the home they share with their daughter earlier that morning. Now, before I read the next part, I don't know what's going to come out of this, and if she was a little bit mentally unstable. And Gabriella, I know you're going to agree. How can you accidentally put a child in the oven? You have to go to the oven and turn it on, open up the door.
We were talking about this the other day, and this is the most disturbing part. If even if the oven door was open, the oven still had to be on, and you have to pull out the rack to put anything in there unless you just place it, but that would if the oven is already hot, then you would get burnt in the process too.
Now, unless she had the oven on already to cook something else as she was preheating it, but still, even then, when you open up the oven door, you would feel that heat coming out. I'm sorry, even if she was a little mentally disabled.
It would go to your brain,
yeah.
And because her friends, I think, said that she had the mind of a child. But even a child would realize, hey, this is hot, what am I doing?
Well, and then we'll continue on with that too, because this is so disturbing, and I hope I can get through it without crying. So that's why I said you better have your Kleenexes, because this is very disturbing. It says the child's grandmother received a call about 1 p.m. from the child's mother, who was hysterical and told the grandmother she had put the infant in the oven instead of the crib. Police was said in the statement. The grandfather returned home after his wife called and told him something was wrong with the baby. He told detectives he could smell smoke inside and found the baby dead in her crib. The baby's mother told the grandfather that she accidentally put her in the oven. Detectives executing a search warrant found the infant in a car seat in the living room with thermal injuries on various parts of her body. The child's clothing appeared to have melted onto her diaper, and they also found a baby blanket with burn marks, the document said. Now, this is I'm already starting to get emotional because this is very disturbing. How can you, I don't care even if you're mentally disabled, you put a baby in the oven, okay, let's give her the benefit of the doubt it was by mistake. That baby is going to cry. That baby's going to scream. You're going to smell something immediately, even if it was a mistake. Within seconds, that baby is going to react by crying or screaming. There's no way.
Swear, this is our channel. Swear.
There's no fucking way that this person could not have known that that child was in that oven. Gabriella, do you want to say before I
The
continue?
thing that I don't understand is they said that they found the deceased baby in the crib, meaning that the woman took the baby after it was already passed away from the oven and put it back in its crib.
Knowing that she did something totally wrong. That's and what there's a couple now. This one here was from U.S. News, I think. This article, but it's over every news channel you can get. Now, one of them I read, I believe that they said she didn't put her back in her crib, but she put her in a car seat inside of the crib.
Well, yeah, that one said.
Yeah, but let me go on with this then. It says, we acknowledge the gruesome nature of this tragedy and our hearts are weighted by the loss of this precious life, Jackson County Prosecutor Jean Peters Baker said in a statement. We trust the criminal justice system to respond appropriately to these awful circumstances.
I'll read back. I have something in my eye.
I just, please comment. Like I said, these are going to be very disturbing. There's going to be a couple that we're going to do. There's the one after this is just as disturbing, if not more disturbing. Please comment on this, and if you have any updates or anything. They said that she's possibly going to be serving like at least 10 years to maybe life imprisonment. Unfortunately, if they do an evaluation on her and they find that she isn't mentally fit, then who knows what will happen. But she was living with her grandparents, and if she wasn't fit to have a kid, then why was she even left alone with a baby? Like, I mean, I'm not comprehending and getting any of this. It just doesn't make sense to me. And there is another report now. I don't know if the news just reported it wrong or if it was actual. I couldn't find the article again. But when I first heard about this, they were saying something on the order that the day before that this happened, the police was called again to respond to an infant that wasn't breathing or something like that. Now, I could be wrong, or the story that I read could have meant this case, this day, but not, they just said it as the day before. So it's not me. It could have just got mixed up by one of these news medias because, of course, they're not always 100% accurate. But this whole thing is just so disturbing, and we really don't like getting into real gruesome things, especially when it involves young children. But this here has been all over the news, and there's been a lot of big question marks from a lot of people of this whole accidentally put the baby in the oven instead of in the crib. So
yeah, I don't understand how you can accidentally grab your baby that's probably crying from you waking it up from a nap or from even just slightly carrying it out of the crib, opening the oven door while it's on, and putting the baby in there and then closing the oven
and
door.
not hearing that baby, because that baby is going to be the baby's burning. That baby is going to be screaming bloody murder, crying, and like even just a quick something smoke and something burning, you're gonna know that something's not right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, folks, I'm not buying this, and it's so disturbing. And as a mother, I just, this is one of the most horrific recent stories that I read, other than the one I'm going to be coming up with, is pretty much as bad, I guess. I don't know. It puts me in mind of an incident that happened when I was in high school with a guy and an infant baby, and I'm not even going to touch on that one because I don't even know if I can repeat that one again after hearing what happened there.
And just to tell you how gruesome the one coming up is, I had a nightmare about my ex doing this to me, so thanks for all the trauma you put me through.
You asshole. So, Gabriella, you want to read one of yours before I read my next? What we're going to do is kind of buffer. We're going to do the very disturbing, and then she's going to do one that's a little bit not great,
Yeah,
but
it's not
the buffer
less disturbing, but it's not.
is gruesome. And
I mean, it kind of
well,
is, though. I don't know how to.
well, just go ahead and read it, and then
All right,
we can touch
so
on. And please, again, push the subscribe button if you find yourself coming back. That little bell. And it's not because we're begging and pleading for the likes and the subscriptions, but that way you'll know, and you can even just if you see what the subject is and you're not interested, just tune out. But at least we know that, hey, Diane and Gabriella's on again. Let's see what they're talking about, And we appreciate you tuning in. So
this one is a headline that says, Pennsylvania woman mutilated animals during YouTube cooking shows, the police say. Now, this one is very disturbing, so viewer discretion is advised.
And again, if you have any small kids or anybody, this one now is touching, of course, on animals, which is just as disturbing. Sometimes in cases more because they can't even fight back or, they can't respond.
I don't know how to say this woman's first name, but her last name is Monsi. She is a Pennsylvania woman who is accused of mutilating and torturing animals. I'll wait till the clock is done.
It's a Christmas present from about 3 years ago that my husband got me. It's very cool. Plays different. I can play Christmas tunes on it during the holiday season, and then of course the classical and stuff like that. But it has this little tune that it plays.
See, it still does that flashing thing on there sometimes. So it's not the light. I mean, it might be the light, but it wasn't the light.
I don't know. I still think maybe, those don't flash. I wonder if it's the fluorescent light in there.
No, it's only the bottom corner.
Oh, well, we're trying to figure out, we see, like, when we're doing these videos, or video, sometimes the light will flash.
I think it's just the
camera.
camera.
Do you think it's my... No, it's not my phone, because somebody had said that one time before.
No.
No.
Yeah, I said it. I thought it was your camera because it's supposed to be with iPhones, so it's supposed to take like infrared pictures every 5 seconds, which is pretty scary, and that's another conspiracy theory that we could talk about sometime if you want us to. But for now, we're going back into this woman who is accused of mutilating and torturing animals during cooking shows on her now deleted YouTube channel. Now, how this even got past the YouTube guidelines, I would love to know. They don't condone violence, they don't condone swearing most of the time, they don't condone copyright claims. How the fuck did they get and because they check the videos before you're able to publish them. That's the same with the guy, which we could talk about that some other time too. He decapitated his father and showed his decapitated head on YouTube.
Yeah, like
But that was live though, so I don't think that they quite yet.
It's just so disturbing with what people are capable of, and then people like almost try to find ways to condone it. And I think that's why we're covering this, is because even getting back to one of our episodes that we did, the Gypsy Rose, people were trying to condone what Nick did because Gypsy told him to do it and he was autistic. Well, if you watch that video, you'll see when I covered that, if you like Albert Einstein and Sir Isaac Newton, they were both autistic too. And you mean to tell me if they committed a murder, they're going to say, oh, they were autistic, it's okay? Or they should get a lesser sentence? No, because there's different stages, different types of autism. And
this is crooked and it's driving me nuts.
And it's just getting out of hand that people are able to commit these heinous crimes, and it's either God told me to do it, and because of that they get off the hook, or they'll plead temporary insanity, or or whatever, and it's just like some of the most gruesome murders and horrible things that you ever can imagine, and they're pleading and getting away with it. Like,
The thing that makes no sense to me, you know, we're dark humor people. We get dark humor and things like that, but when you're so messed up in your mind where you can look at a human being or an animal and be like, wow, you know, I just think it's one of those days where I could just slit their throat and have it end.
yeah,
How can, especially like humans, that's bad enough. That really is. And I have condolences to all of those who have lost their lives and all of their family members who have to deal with that day in and day out. But animals, how can you look at a precious thing such as
good spoiled baby,
fat beast here and say that you just,
might be.
and since they're so like defenseless just to hurt them and to kill them for no reason. We were watching this, hey, that's my coffee, don't do that. We were watching the psychopath, what's it called?
Signs of a
Signs
Psychopath.
of a Psychopath show the other day, and this guy, he killed his mother, and then he killed his cat, or his mom's cat, because it was defenseless and because it was very vulnerable. How can you look at an animal and think about doing something like that? I love all animals, and if anything ever happened to this one especially, I'm gonna be devastated. This is, Selena Spooky Boo says her dog is her soul dog?
So, yeah.
Her soul dog. He is my soul cat. He's literally a cat dog, by the way. He follows me everywhere I go, and he listens. He knows what he's doing. Don't ya?
Can be spoiled.
Don't ya? I guess he's gonna be here for the rest of the video.
So, is there any more to that you...
Yeah, I'm gonna continue. I just thought that I'd say that because it's just disturbing to me how people can look at vulnerable animals and be like, oh yeah, that's something I want to just get rid of.
That's kind of how Jeffrey Dahmer started out.
I don't know how people can do that. But anyways,
Well, and that guy that you're talking about that killed his mother, he killed his mother's cat.
that's what I said.
Yeah, and he just threw it in the garbage like it was nothing. Like, you know.
Yeah, and
you know,
he specifically said it was because it was vulnerable.
yeah.
He said it was vulnerable and it was defenseless, so...
So, lo and behold, you know,
He looked like a black blob. Look at him. And he look like he has a face from over here. Where's your head? Where's your head?
okay.
Alright, so, back to horrible news. Here, move over that way a little bit. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, you want to come here?
Get down on her lap, buddy.
Come here, Bubs. It's okay.
You can't get back up there, buddy. We're trying to do a taping here. You
Oh,
little
well-
showboat.
Alright, fine. You can be like half...
We normally don't like him up on the table.
I'm sorry. I had to show him off because
Yeah.
he's my baby.
As you notice, I said normally don't like him up on the table.
Today's a special occasion.
So,
Anyways, back to the news article because I was getting way off track, like I always do. The woman was 28 years old. Hello, I need to read that. I would like to read that. Oh my goodness, you're just causing all kinds of trouble today, aren't you? She was 28 years old and she was accused of 3 counts of cruelty to animals after receiving a report from PETA. PETA. I'm just gonna say PETA because PETA sounds like from Family Guy. It says the Delco Times described her as a so-called content creator. It's just This is all in quotation marks, by the way. It's just barbaric. It's inhumane that someone could do that. Upper Darby Police Superintendent Timothy Bernhardt told Delco Times she's going to answer to all 4 of the incidents. And detectives looked into the charge and charged her. Hopefully it will send a message that is cruelty. So what she did was this is so disturbing, and it might make me cry because I just love animals so much. I don't know how you could just she would get rabbits and chickens and frogs while they were still living and cook them, and you would hear them crying and everything else while she was doing this on her YouTube channel. And people
like that stuff. They watched it. They liked it. And what the fuck's wrong with people that they would actually watch that? Even if it was fake, even if that wasn't real animals, why would you watch a video? Like horror movies and that, even then they said there was no harm to the animals in the motion picture. But you know when you're watching it that for some reason, especially in horror movies, there's always going to be a pet that dies or gets killed in it for some reason.
A cat for some reason. But there was a video named Cooking shows her killing a pigeon and making sexualized comments.
What the fuck?
She's fucked up.
That's messed up.
And then she some of the videos were live streams apparently that encouraged viewers to like and follow her. And viewers were told by a moderator that if people sent Monsi money to buy the animal, she would cook your requests. So people literally would watch this on live and be perfectly okay with it. Like, I'm sorry, but the person doing it is bad enough, but when you're fucking so sick to watch somebody do that as well, then what does that say about you?
No, you're messed up. You're messed up. It's just...
It says, during the video she is soliciting more likes and more views, and once she gets to the point where she is satisfied with the number of viewers, she then proceeds over the course of 10 minutes to harm and ultimately kill that chicken. She had videos of her grabbing bunnies by their ears and then just slicing their throats, and her one live stream was literally her grabbing a frog and a live frog and throwing it in boiling hot water. I just don't understand.
Why do people do this? What the hell is wrong with this world that we have to do? Wait till you hear the story that I'm gonna do next.
My next one is not it's not disturbing. It's just I thought that I'd have to bring it up to everybody in this world because of what's going on nowadays. But
yeah, so let's get on to this one and get this one out of the way, because again, if you have a tissue box, you're gonna freaking need it. This one, like I said, is probably as disturbing, if not more disturbing than that first one. And this one took place, it was published on February 8th, and this was on one of the news. It made it a lot of news stations too. It's from New Hampshire. And it says, Dad beat daughter, then ate fast food and did drugs as she died in the back seat of the car. This New Hampshire felon, Adam Montgomery, is on trial for murder of his daughter, Harmony. And what the story is on this is, if I can get this out here, is Harmony Montgomery died in agony, moaning and gurgling after a beating by the hands of her own father as he chomped down a Burger King meal and shot himself up with opioids, according to the prosecutors who delivered their opening statements in the murder trial. It says he's 33-year-old Adam Montgomery, who is already a felon and drug addict, had somehow been awarded custody of his 5-year-old girl after his release from prison, even as her brother's adoptive parents were actively trying to add her to their family. While collecting welfare on her behalf, he lived out of a car with his now estranged wife, Kayla, whom he is also accused of beating and continued to use drugs. Kayla was terrified to see what he had done, is what she told the Attorney General, Christopher Knowles. She could hear the moaning and sounds eventually stopped. So, that's bad enough. That's bad enough. He beat the shit out of this. She's 5 years old, mind you. This little girl's 5 years old. He beat the fucking shit out of her. Threw her in the back seat of his car because that's where he was apparently living. He doesn't think anything of it. He goes off to fucking Burger King and shoots himself up and orders some fucking food to eat. Well, on December 7th, 2019 is when this happened. They said that it's the one they believe that this little girl died. She had soiled herself in her sleep. Her father allegedly beat her over the head viciously, telling his wife, "I think I'm really going to hurt her this time." Then he went to a methadone clinic, picked up drugs, and got fast food. And little Harmony had another accident. Her father turned around and allegedly began pummeling her in the head and face. Harmony started moaning and gurgling, according to prosecutors, while her dad ate food and shot up with some drugs. When he realized his daughter was dead, he allegedly stuffed her into a duffel bag. He transferred her body multiple times and kept it for weeks before chopping up her remains and disposing them somewhere outside Boston. Now, before I continue, I don't even know if I can, but this son of a bitch beat the shit out of this little girl to death. He fucking travels around with her body in a bag for weeks, then chops her up, and I don't even know if I am going to read anymore because I can just tell you without reading it. He tells us Kayla, his at the time girlfriend, wife, whatever, they're never going to find her body. They're never going to find her body, and that's why he chopped it up. Apparently, which I'm not reading anymore because I'm going to lose my shit. That he put parts in the backyard, he put parts up in vents, like just all over the place purposely so her little remains would never be found. To this day, they don't know where her body's at. They don't know where all the parts are at to this day. And I think that's what's so fucking disturbing about this video. Like, I don't care if you're fucked out of your brain from drugs. I don't care what the excuse is. Go do something to yourself, over fucking the dose on drugs. I don't give a shit. But a 5-year-old innocent little girl, just because she soiled the bed. Like, I'm sorry. Why? That's what I want to know. Why? And this son of a bitch, what they'll do is they put them in fucking prison for life. That's not good enough. I think what we need to do is a group of us women, a group of us mothers, we have an easy cure. We can fix this. I'm going to give you a solution to this. Get these motherfuckers like this, gather them all up that does heinous crimes like this to these little children, these innocent little babies, gather them up. Get a group of us mothers. Let us mothers take care of these low life scums. Let us take care of them. I'm sure we'll make them feel every fucking ounce of pain that they put these children through, and then some. Death penalty is not even good enough for these bastards. It's not good enough. They need to be shown what they did to these innocent children, and they need to suffer the same. People they believe in the Bible. They want to follow Christianity. Then let's go back to an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. If that's the case, if you want to be living by the Bible and everything, let's do that then. That son of a bitch did that to this little girl. Then let us mothers gather up and do that to that SOB. Like I just, Gabrielle,
I don't know.
I don't even know if you can respond. Can anybody respond?
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. That's just.
I'm sure that there's more on here that.
Well, like I said, it's so disturbing to me apparently, and I didn't even realize it until I went to sleep that night after she told me about the story, and I had a nightmare about my ex not liking what I did, and he was a fucking psychopath, chopping me up into a million little pieces and hiding me wherever that he could find because Mom didn't accept him. That was my nightmare. And if that doesn't prove how much trauma that he put me through, I don't know what does.
One of our future episodes, we'll probably have
I won't mention names, only for his privacy, even though he should be outed.
You don't know who he is.
That's the same. Won't watch these videos.
That's the same as Abby's ex-boyfriend, that little SOB. I have a lot to say, and I don't care if his mother defends him. I love his mother. I think she's a super lady. But defending him when he's already been in trouble for sexual crimes against minors and other things than that, and I'm not mentioning his name, again like her, but you know who you are. But he targeted me. He threatened me, but that was okay. And I never once threatened him. I just called him out for being the piece of shit that he is. Thank God my daughter didn't stay with him. But anyhow, like with this stuff here, we really don't like getting into things that's this disturbing. But because it's been all over the news and it's disturbing to us that somebody like this now, like why, I just don't understand if his ex-girlfriend, whatever the hell she was, to him, he's already a drug user, he was already convicted of a crime, he got out, and he does something this heinous. Why waste our jail space and even put him back in jail? I say, gather up a bunch of those mothers. I would be willing, I would be a willing person to stand there and say, you know what, I'm a mother and what you did is unforgivable, and I don't understand what goes on in the mind of people these days, whether they're doped up or not. And what makes it even worse is our society allows people like him to walk free. Especially this fucktard is probably going to say, God told me to do it, or I was high on opioids. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm mentally ill.
Like, we can get back to the freaking Gypsy Rose case. She was always high on some sort of drug. And did that make her want to kill her mother? No. She got somebody else to do it because she was too scared to. And because she knew that she loved her mother too much, that if she would have done it, it would have really affected her. And it's not that it's not affecting her now, because I'm sure that she still has nightmares about that night, having to cover her ears from all the screams and everything. But
again, and that's a controversial, because some people believe that she didn't do that, but she already confessed to it. She already said that she did plan it all out, so we're not going to get into that. That's we've already discussed that. We can do it again in the future.
But my whole point is, she was high almost all the time on, I think it was opioids.
Yeah, she got addicted to what her mother was injecting her.
Not injecting her, but
Well,
yeah.
or, giving her, ingesting.
I think it was opioids, and because she said something about it in jail, too. She said that she had an addiction to it in jail.
Yeah.
So, that was my whole point of the
Yeah,
story.
yeah. It's true, and it's just too easy for these people to get off the hook. And, like, I cannot tell you how many cases. I used to have a book. I don't know where it's at. It was called God Told Me To, and it was about a guy that went out and committed murders. And he said that a little voice in his head, which was God speaking to him, told him to go out and do this, and he felt it was going to be all right. Like,
And not to get into religion or anything, but it seems like most of the crimes that are being committed, they have this little voice in their head where something told them to do it, and they describe it as a god.
That's on that same picture again, Signs of a Psychopath. How many we
Almost
watched?
every single one of them is like, I had a little voice telling me, it was almost like a little angel telling me to do this. I knew it was wrong, but I did it anyway because that voice told me to.
Yeah, I'm a good Christian person, and I had to follow what my God told me to, and my God's voice told me I was supposed to go out and commit this murder. But enough with that. I think you have a more lighter. Sorry, that these matters were so disturbing, but with them being current events and right now all over the news, we wanted to cover them. We won't be always doing things like this, but just be prepared. That's why we do put a warning on our channel that sometimes we are going to be touching subjects like this. We try to sway away from them to the caliber of these two, but again, they were just current events. They were just now, recently, all over the news.
So this one, like she said, is a little bit less, actually it's a lot less graphic. It's not really, it's not graphic at all, actually.
No.
But this is for all you people who think that it's so cool to vape, and that, I know some of you got addicted from a young age, and you can't really help it. You can't just go cold turkey, or else you're gonna have a lot more issues than you do now. But, this is for all you new vapors, or all you
thinking vapors.
Yeah,
people thinking of vaping.
Vapors. Now, I will say that I did vape once, okay, and it was probably the lowest point in my life because I didn't know.
You did it for your boyfriend, anyhow.
I was trying to figure out who I was. I thought that if I would vape, I would get better friends, and I would attract my ex-boyfriend, and it kind of worked, and then I was like, well, why am I doing this? And then I hid it from them, and then my sister found out, and then it was one hell of a catastrophe, and I, since then, have quit, and I've never felt better. And this was over a year ago or so. Actually, it was
That was me. Like, I'm sorry, folks. My hubby contacted me about a bill.
Like 2 years ago? It was like 2 years ago. But this was like the lowest point of my life, and I was being mentally abused, if that's even the right word to use.
You were.
By not only him, but some so-called friends that I had, and, just, this all kind of started at school, actually. It was, I didn't know what vaping was. I didn't know what vaping was. And then my one friend, and I'm not going to say her name for privacy reasons also, she brought me a Juul, and she was like, you need to try this. I was like, what is this? She's like, oh, it's a vape, don't worry about it. It's like, okay, I guess. I didn't know it was bad for you. I didn't know that it goes, like, into your lungs or anything like that. I didn't know this. And this was, like, 6th grade. I was young.
Yeah.
And, she brought it over to me, and I was like, what is that? She's like, it's a vape, don't worry about it. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then they started hiding it from the teachers, and I realized that it was bad. But I was like, well, it's something that we're not supposed to do, but it can't be that bad, right? Well, then all these articles started coming out about how people are getting severely sick because of the things that are in them.
Well, they banned them at least twice
They were
already.
banned.
Yeah.
You have to now be 21 or older to purchase it. And, like, it's just getting out of control because all these kids that are 13 and younger
Yeah.
are fucking buying these vapes or somehow getting a hold of them and having severe health issues when they grow up and wondering why. Well, your body isn't fully developed yet, and you're putting chemicals in your body that you don't know what they are. So this has to do with that. There is an ingredient, I guess, in vapes now. Now this is more so towards UK, but this is what it says. It says 5 teenagers in London were hospitalized recently after smoking vapes containing the drug known as spice. Now, this spice drug is also known as the zombie drug. And what it does is you smoke it or you shoot it up or however it goes in your body. It makes you like a zombie. You're walking around like all lethargic and like you don't look good. You look like you're dead. And you start acting weird too. And they're finding out that this drug is now in some of the liquids, and it says this incident is only the latest in what appears to be a growing problem in the UK with unregulated vape liquids, especially those marketed as containing THC or cannabis. And THC and cannabis are very big things right now, which means that things from London or UK can be transferred over to US if, I don't know, you go to UK or something, buy it from there and come back or to US when you're on vacation or whatever.
It, a lot of THC.
Yeah, it's what was I saying?
You said it could come here by being transported.
Yeah, that was what I was saying. So it's more so in UK right now. But that doesn't mean that it can't transfer over to the US at some point. And these were 5 teenagers. This is what I was talking about before. When I started vaping, it was in my teenage years. I was probably 16, 17, somewhere around there. It might have even been 15. I think it was 16 though, because I think I just turned 16 when we moved to
Yeah,
South
I don't
Carolina.
remember.
But it was somewhere around there, and I wouldn't say I got addicted to it, but it did make me like want more. I had withdrawal. It was that bad at one point. I had withdrawal, and I was like, I need more. And that's when my ex came into the picture, and he started vaping, and I was like, oh, cool, you have a vape? Well, guess what I got, too? And then it was a disaster. But I don't vape anymore, and the whole point of my story is, if you vape, I would be very, very careful and read the ingredients, or, I don't know, get one of, there's these safe vapes. There's no safe vapes, but safe vapes where it's essential oil. I don't think you're supposed to inhale essential oil, but I guess it's better than... Okay, so we had these, it was when I kind of quit vaping, kind of didn't. It was me, Abby, and Chase. We all had these little essential oil things, and they weren't considered vapes, but you would inhale them, but you wouldn't let it go down into your system or whatever, and then you'd blow it out, and it's supposed to like relax you or make you feel at ease and stuff like that. You don't actually inhale it. You just kind of like breathe it in and then blow it
Yeah, I
out.
remember you guys telling me. I don't know what that is, but
That's what I would suggest doing, but
even then you have to that's a chemical going in your body.
yeah, I would still be careful.
Yeah.
But those are probably more safe than the actual vapes themselves.
Well, the problem with vapes is a lot of people don't understand. And in some cases, maybe they aren't too harmful, but a lot of people feel that I'm going to quit smoking and go to vaping. Well, just quit smoking and go to drinking green tea or something. You know, try to get something, because if you quit smoking, your lungs will heal. If you quit vaping, your lungs are damaged. They're not going to heal because it dries out all that moisture in your lung. You don't heal from vaping.
Well,
I'm sorry,
it depends
you don't.
on how long that you've done it.
Well,
If you've done it more than a year, then you're pretty much fucked.
That's what I'm saying. Most vapors, though, they get addicted to it. They feel, okay, hey, I'm vaping. I quit smoking, so I'm okay now. And a lot of them have already.
Yeah.
People that we know that's been vaping for 4, 5, 6, 7 years now already. You know, I mean, they didn't ban these things for just.
I'm not
for
trying
no
to tell
reason.
you not to vape. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life, but I am saying that this spice drug, also known as a zombie drug, is called that because it can have symptoms of the debilitating effects it can have is it causes psychosis, loss of movement, vomiting or diarrhea, and even sometimes seizures. So if you want to continue vaping and have something potentially bad happen to you, such as a seizure, vomiting, diarrhea, psychosis, loss of movement, or anything else that may be included in that diagnosis, then you know what? Continue, because I'm not gonna. I can't tell you how to live your life.
Yeah, nobody's telling you. That's your life. You do what you want. But just like if we can like give you some advice and some facts, then to help you out. That's what we're here for. But we're not preaching to you how to live your life. You do what you want. That's it's just we like to think that if anybody needs to address anything, we will try to help the best we can, and we look up facts and we do a lot of research before we say anything. So, is there anything else on that you want? Because we're pretty much, I think, we're on our hour length.
Just a description of what spice is. It says, while these lab-made drugs are designed to mimic the effects of cannabis, they tend to be far more unpredictable and harmful. There's currently no data on how these drugs are manufactured in clandestine laboratories thought to be located in China and India. They do have an idea on how it may be synthesized based on academic experiments that have published in peer-reviewed journals.
So it sounds like, too, that these aren't even actual organic, that they're synthetic.
They're made from a factory.
Yeah, so right there, too. So please, just our advice is just, before you do anything like this, you change from cigarettes to go to vaping, please do your research first before you put any of that in your body. Again, we're not preaching to you, telling you what to do, but cigarettes are bad for you, but in actuality, if you look at the long-term cigarettes, you can heal from it.
Smoke weed. It'll probably be better than...
And there's medicinal benefits for weed, so, and even then, you're not 100% safe on that either, but, I mean, if you had to go some route, that weed has been used for medicinal purposes. So with that, I mean, we don't want to preach. This is our channel, and
save kids, smoke trees.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. I think we've touched pretty much everything that we wanted to tonight. We're about our time limit that we like to be around an hour. Now, sometimes on our Wednesday episode, we might be shorter, depending on what product review we're going to do or what kind of crazy thing we're going
We've
to do.
been pretty much around the same time of every single video.
We have been. So, with that, and again, so sorry for the disturbing, but we do like to keep you up to date on some of the newest current events and hot topics out there. Without being redundant, if there's anything you want us to cover that you think will really, hit the hearts or whatever of all of our viewers, or really, go big time, just comment. We did get some comments on our Gypsy Rose. We love hearing comments, even if you say, "Hey, you guys are nuts." As long as you're not doing personal insults where it's like hitting below the belt, and that, hey, we can take that. That's fine. That's your opinion, and we're good with that. But to leave on this note, with craziness and that, I'm gonna do a Gandhi quote, and his quote is, "You must be the change you wish to see in the world." And with that, it's tune in and
peace out.
Hey, nice to see your smiles back again. Guess we're gonna start all over. This is gonna be a blooper.